Walthamstow, in a sense, what I was involved in back in when it started was the stories were the same, but I think the times are slightly different. And but the needs were still there, and they're still here today. It was a terrace 3-bedroom house which was always had the latch on. And the reason for that is I got fed up with answering the door and people used to just come in, and we used to use my front room for a meeting point. And we talked about development of children, but in a different way. We did this all over a cup of tea or coffee and a laugh, really. It was very, very informal, but it was well used, and there was just a sense that there was a need for it. There was a gardener's shed, that's how I could describe it, and a double-decker bus which was situated in the Evelyn Park fields. The children used to gather there, you know, and there used to be a lot of them, and there used to be tea parties there, all sorts of things go on. And the local authority wanted to close them, and that's how it really, really started. The fact that why are you shutting such a well-used service that obviously people wanted, and it was the time of cuts, and we're still having them today. We got together and felt, well, why are they closing? We need more of it. We need a community type building that can be used for everybody. So we formed the Lloyd Park Action Group, and we registered ourselves as a charity. Our first big event was called a bumble sale, a cross between a bazaar and a jumble sale. And we had it at St John's Church. Everybody was supporting it, everybody wanted it, you know. And that's when our campaign really took off and we started lobbying. We needed something bigger and better. I mean, that didn't happen overnight. That went on for a few years. And I remember getting a bit of money. I thought, well, you know, if I can get that money, why can't I get more? And we started fundraising in a bigger way to help support it. And working with the local authority, in a way we lobbied and we actually won. And that was for play schemes across the borough. So we kept them open for a while. Although the play scheme was running over there, we couldn't develop it any further, which is what they wanted. And they moved it over to here. And we took over what was tennis courts. They sourced these 5, what I call porta cabins. They came from an aircraft's base, and there was all sorts of things all over the walls, but they were quite old. But nevertheless, we got in there and we've sort of decorated as much as we could, but we couldn't do anything where there was a care scheme of anything, but we did open it up for a parent and toddler. And we started off by doing a parent and toddler twice a week. And we quickly increased on that to becoming every day. We did have quite a lot of publicity because I suppose it was a little bit unique. So we were regularly in the local newspaper of what we were doing and what we were up to. So the local authority then agreed to decorate the porta cabins and extend them. So we got our first extension, but we only had 2 toilets. So we quickly realised that actually if we're going to do anything else, we've got to get some more toilets. So the next campaign was to add on a toilet block. We were then able to extend the provision of parent and toddler and have a preschool. And the preschool opened, and we opened it, and I think the first lot of children we had were 6. And the first morning we had these 6 children, and we grew and grew and grew. We were campaigning and we were raising money, and we got a grant. That enabled us to purchase another porta cabin. It was being carpeted over the weekend, and on the Saturday night it was broken into and they set 6 fires, and the whole building was destroyed by fire without us ever using the new wing, if you like.
How did you find out?
The police came, they knew me at that time quite well, not for criminal reasons, but for social reasons. And they actually knocked on my door about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning to say there's a fire, and they brought me down. I was absolutely devastated. I think it was the worst thing I've ever experienced, and I just felt that that was it really. We've lost it. We worked so hard to get it. No, we wasn't going to get it replaced. But on the Sunday morning, the playground, which was the tennis court, so it was quite large, was packed with people, all coming to salvage what could be salvaged from the fire. The bowling green wasn't using their facilities, so they said that we could set up over there, and Wynn's Primary School came to the rescue and said that they would supply the meals and keep the children in the afternoon that was in our daycare. The local authority committed to me that they would put the porter cabin back to rights again, which they did, and within 6 months we were back in there and campaigning again for another extension. It became part of our family life. None of that is possible with one person. It can only be as a team, and it is the people in that team that make these, what it is today. One Saturday morning I opened my post. I was sitting on my settee with a cup of tea and a piece of toast, opening the post that had just come, and I had this letter which wasn't very formal. Well, it was formal, but it didn't look over formal, stating that I've been put forward for an honour to the Queen. And I really believed at the time that someone was having a joke with me. And my daughter rang up and I said, "Wendy, I've got this letter," and she burst out crying. And she said, "I knew you were going to get something." And that was it. But that was in November. In the letter it said that it has to remain confidential and that I couldn't share the information, which was very hard for me, because when I actually realised that this was putting me forward for an MBE, I sort of thought about it, and it's not only me that should have been getting the MBE. I'm a head of a service, but I've got all these people behind me that should deserve it just as much, really.